Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope you all are doing well. Um, it is definitely fall around here. Took a little trip this weekend. Some beautiful, beautiful skies and stuff. All kinds of stuff going on. Heather cannot make it tonight, but we want you to please tell us where you're from, country, city, state, etc. Should be an interesting subject today, so I'm looking forward to that too. But give me some of that information. Give us a thumbs up, all those cool things that you can do. We are tinkeringwithtech.net. You can also click the up there, right there, the little icon there. If you have your phone handy, just go there and it'll take you right to that website too. All right, let's see. Also, I'm getting a notice too, just so anybody knows, that Twitch, it's having trouble right now connecting to Twitch. So anybody that is trying to get on from Twitch, you probably don't hear this, probably hear this afterward or whatever, but there is an issue right now that they have. So without further ado, let's bring on Peggy K. Hey, Peggy,
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Always excited.
Me too. It's awesome. And I love it. Ron from Tech for Seniors, he says right away, it's going to be a great show. There you go. And Andrew says the Hermit returns. He's from Hermitage, Tennessee. We got Mike from Niagara Falls. That's kind of cool. Seneca, South Carolina. Huntington Beach. There you go. California. I don't know if that's close to you, but I know that you're in California, right, Peggy K? Are you?
Nowhere I'm in California, but that's in Southern California and I'm in Northern California.
I got you. And then Ron Browning Comics up in Canada. Teen Coins has, hey, Michael, hey, how are you? And then from California, Richard. It's simple just to type it that quick and easy. And you're like in Northern California, right?
I am. I'm in near the Bay, San Francisco. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. Not in San Francisco itself.
Cool.
Out in the suburbs.
Yeah, no, I get it. I like, we both have a similar pillow here.
We do. Our beautiful Android, what is that, Andy Warhol or something?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Mark Barrett says, hey, Peggy, thank you for joining us. Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you because you always teach us something. I always learn so much stuff. And this is a question, and I even started out in the green room with you, asking you specifically, what is it? What does AdSense mean? And I was wrong in some of the things that I thought too. So this is good. This is going to be great. I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about that starting out. What is AdSense?
So what we're talking about is Google's advertising ecosystem, as they put it. And there's really two different sides to it. There's Google Ads, where advertisers, small businesses, they purchase advertising from Google through Google Ads. AdSense is on the other side, where a publisher, if you have your own website, for example, can place ads on your content, and then you get a cut of Google's earnings, essentially.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's the two sides of the coin. And so what I'm going to talk about today is AdSense, which is for content creators. Monetize your content.
Gotcha.
And we were talking a little bit before the show. One of the things that is important to know is that YouTube partners need to have an AdSense account connected to their YouTube channel to monetize their content. But YouTube is not using AdSense for content. So really all the things like analytics, that's in your YouTube studio. But you get paid through AdSense. So after the month is over, all those earnings you generated in your YouTube account for your YouTube channel, those get transferred to AdSense, and AdSense manages to pay you. And you're also required to follow the AdSense program policies while you're monetizing your channel.
So is this something that, is YouTube the only outlet for AdSense, or is there other things? I'm just curious because I know some people ask that question sometimes.
So There's AdSense for content, which is for monetizing your own website. You can use that with your Blogger blog, or if you otherwise have a website. I think there's other host sites other than Blogger where there's like an integration. I can't remember which host sites are available.
That's fine. No. I don't need you to go into detail. That's okay. I was just curious because I was more trying to understand the logic behind it more than anything else. Now, what about, I might as well mention this because I have a Google site. Is Google Sites tied in any way? Or
as far as I know, no. Google Sites is not supported for AdSense.
Okay.
That's
what I wanted to check.
It's a little interesting because it's more oriented towards businesses and internal sites and so forth.
Right, I got you.
And then just to round things out, there's also AdMob. And AdMob is for monetizing apps. So if you made an Android app and you want to put Google's ads in there, you would get an AdMob account, which again has to be connected to AdSense for like payments. So
I can honestly say I've never heard of AdMob. I've just never heard of it.
If you're not a developer, it wouldn't apply to you.
I got you.
So if basically you have an AdSense account if you want to show ads on your content somewhere and be paid a cut of that. So one of the things, really what I want to focus on today is how to get support for AdSense, because that is complicated and confusing. And there's a bunch of different places to look. And the one thing that I really want to tell everyone is that if you are a YouTube partner or you're having trouble setting up AdSense for YouTube, you should get support from the YouTube side of things. AdSense itself really only offers support for AdSense for content, which is for like monetizing your own website or blog. So I am a product expert for both AdSense and YouTube, so I can kind of have a picture of how those support things work, and for sure
how those two work together, right? I mean, how they interchange. And I'm sure you get questions for each of those in both places too, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, it's obviously confusing for people because there's no obvious way to know where exactly you're supposed to post, but we can move the topics from one forum to another if we need to.
I got you.
But if you're a YouTube partner and you have monetization active, you can directly contact creator support and they can help with AdSense issues. So that's the thing to know, that if you're a YouTube partner, you should be able to get direct support for many issues that you might be having.
Gotcha. I know Ron says here, can a Google site be monetized with AdSense? And I think you answered that, because
I think the answer to that is no. There is no option to do that.
He was asking the same thing I was, I think, in that. Yeah. So no. Big T Coins, he says, what if Google or AdSense won't help when you have a problem? All right.
That's sort of what we're going to get at. It depends on the problem. You can post in either the AdSense help community or the YouTube help community, and the product experts like me can try and assist you. Honestly, though, there's going to be some issues that may not be fixable, or that something that you will have to fix yourself, because there's money changes hands, there's legal requirements, there's a lot of things that we can't actually do. And of course, product experts like Michael and me, we're volunteers. We have no access to your account. And so we're limited to the support that's offered by YouTube or by AdSense.
Ron says, can you ever talk to a real person at AdSense?
That's a really excellent question. And the answer is sometimes. So I want to, let me share my screen and I will show you what I mean.
Do that. You share it and I'll bring it up on screen. I'll tell you when it's there.
So can you see my screen okay?
It's coming up. Here we go. Let me add it. There we go. Yes, that's perfect.
So the first place you should stop if you're having trouble with your AdSense account is the Google AdSense Help Center. And here's something that many people don't know, but it's really important. The content of the Help Center is customized to your account. So it's really important that you're signed into the Google account you use for AdSense or your AdSense application when you open the Help Center. And it also means what I see when I view things in the Help Center is not necessarily the same thing other people see. All right. So that can cause a lot of confusion, of course, because you'll maybe read a tutorial or someone say, oh, you should do this, follow these instructions, use this troubleshooter, and you might actually then, try and find it, and you can't even access that troubleshooter or form. So here's how to check and see if you have direct support from AdSense. All right. What you need to do is open the Help Center and then scroll to the bottom of the page. And this is on any page. And you can see Need More Help. There's two options, Ask the Help Community. So that's going to be asking assistance from Google product experts. Or you can select Contact Us. Now, when you select Contact Us, it opens this sort of dialogue. You can say, how do I get paid? And in the next step, it gives you some options. You can always say something else, but I say payments not received. It's going to recommend a bunch of Help Center articles, but if those aren't helping you, then you can say next step, and then you'll see contact options. Now, you're seeing what I see when I'm signed into my AdSense account. Not everyone has the same contact options. And then AdSense does not spell out how it determines which options you actually see, but it probably depends on what your earnings are, what country you're in, what language you have set in your account, a bunch of things. So some people
a lot of factors go into it.
Some people may also have a chat option, and some people may just be directed back to the AdSense help community. So that is how you can check and see if you can get direct support or not. And then if you do have direct support, click the button and it will be a form that you can fill out explaining your problem. So
that's awesome. So to answer his question, basically, sometimes maybe, and depends on country. There's a lot of factors. I mean, it could be a lot of things, right, Peggy? I mean, it could be numerous things, we should say. Here's another one. Let's see. Hold on. Russ says, love it hearing how two platforms work. Oh, okay. Yeah. On the two working together. Exactly. Okay. So Big T says, my problem is it says I have two accounts. From what I've read is if I completely close any other Google accounts, it will get rid of another AdSense account.
Okay, first of all, don't close Google accounts. That's usually not the solution. It sounds like your situation is that your AdSense application was disapproved as a duplicate of an existing AdSense account. And the reason it gets disapproved is that you're only allowed to have one AdSense account with you as the payee on it. And so AdSense does some sort of check when you submit an application, and it will say, hey, look, it looks like you have another account. And you have two options. Use that existing account or sign into the existing account and close it. And
let me ask you a quick question, because just so we're not confused here, because I could see how somebody could be confused when you say YouTube accounts or AdSense accounts.
This is AdSense. This is AdSense. Okay. You can have as many YouTube accounts as you want.
And can the AdSense go to each one of those YouTube accounts?
Absolutely. So you're only allowed to have one AdSense account.
Gotcha.
And you can use that one AdSense account to monetize multiple YouTube channels, or if you have AdSense for content, multiple websites.
I got you. Okay, so if I sign in with let's say my Gmail, I sign in with my Gmail, my normal one that I always use, and I create an AdSense and they give it to me and it's tied to a specific YouTube channel. But I decide to create a whole new YouTube channel. Let's just say I decided to start a Tinkering with Tech YouTube channel. But I want my AdSense so all the money comes to the same place. I'm just asking this. I wouldn't start a whole nother AdSense account for that Tinkering with Tech one. Would I?
Please don't do that.
Okay.
Because then you're going to end up with that disapproval, and it's really can be.
That's why I'm trying to clarify. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page there, and that maybe that will help people understand that way.
That is often.
Even though, I just want to clarify, even though if let's say I created a tinkeringwithtech@gmail.com email and all that kind of stuff and set up an AdSense that way and everything, even though it's the same person, me, but I have a whole separate, I still don't want to add a second AdSense account. Is that correct?
That is correct. You can only have one AdSense account with you as the payee.
As Michael Daniels as the payee.
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. So the person, doesn't matter what email you use or a business email, and then you use this email, then you use this.
So let me give a little more insight into what happened.
Okay,
so let's say you have an existing AdSense account and you were trying to monetize your YouTube channel, and instead during the AdSense setup process, instead of signing into that existing account, you inadvertently applied for a new account. What's going to happen is AdSense is going to be able to tell that it's the same, you already have an account based on the information you provided. And they don't share exactly how they determine accounts or duplicates of each other, but they probably use a bunch of signals like your name and address and other things. And so then that new application will be disapproved. AdSense will send you a disapproval email that says, it looks like you have an existing AdSense account. Here is a hint for the email username of that account. So it will give you a partial email address.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully you recognize that.
Yeah.
And then it says, look, here's what you need to do. You need to either sign in and just use that account, or sign in and go through the cancellation process to close that existing AdSense account. Now, you don't want to just delete the Google account, because deleting your Google account does not close the AdSense account on that Google account. It actually, if you do that, it can be the worst of all worlds, because you
can't get it back kind of thing. Yeah.
The AdSense account is actually technically still active, but then you can no longer access it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one last thing, and then I'll get to some questions that are out there. And I'm just trying to think of this in my brain and understand this. So I have a personal YouTube account that I use. Let's say I start a business with my brother. My brother and I start a business, and it's ABC company. And we decide, hey, look, this is doing really good. We got some YouTube shorts. We got all this kind of stuff. I want an AdSense account for this, because I want the company to get the money, not me, but the company. Would I start a whole nother AdSense in that particular instance, because I have that and I want that going to that particular thing, even though I'm part of it? And I might sign in with my personal Gmail. Don't do that. Is this where we're going? We want to stay with that other Gmail and go with that, and that company is its own entity, and or yes or no? Give us a little help.
So in that particular instance, you might want to create a new AdSense account. So you are allowed to have an individual AdSense account and a business AdSense account, as long as the payee on the business AdSense account is the business.
Oh, okay.
So you set up an AdSense, business AdSense account. It could, then the payee is the business. You'd need a bank account in the business's name.
Okay.
You'd have to fill out tax information for the business.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it has to be a real business. I know sometimes people think, oh, this is a way around it, and they kind of just give a business name, but not actually an incorporated business anywhere, and they get stuck because then they're expected to file tax information and link a bank account, and they can't do that.
Right. Yeah. And I know that they ask questions on, they have to know questions like whether it's an S corp, because an S corporation, they legally are bound to the company. So I mean, I know there's a lot of ins and outs of that. So they really need to know a lot of information on that. If you're willing to give a lot of that information, I mean, this is just me throwing that out there because I know that they need to know that stuff, because they're, in order for them to pay out money, the government's got to know. It seems like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It's complicated, and just to add to the complication, usually only U.S. citizens and people in the U.S. have to fill out the U.S. tax forms, but there was a recent change. So if you are a YouTube partner, your earnings are designated as royalties, and Google is required to withhold the U.S. part of those earnings to pay to the tax man.
Oh, wow.
And so if you're a YouTube partner, and no matter what country you're in, you should fill out the U.S. tax forms. It's, a different tax
form. Just go through the process. Yeah, just go through the process.
Yeah. But that means, again, everything has to match, and all the information has to be accurate in your account. These are legal forms you're filling out. So we find people running into problems because they have their AdSense account, they filled out the tax forms, and the name on the tax form doesn't match exactly the name in the AdSense account. And so the tax form's rejected, and that has to be fixed. And people may not have realized that until now, because up until now, they didn't have to actually fill out the tax form.
Right. Now they have to. All right, let's go to Big T Coin says here. He says, but what if I can't use any of the controls to delete the other AdSense? And I think his next comment kind of adds to this. And how do I find the other AdSense?
So that can be really tough. What I usually recommend, first of all, you're given a hint for the email username of that account. Think hard. Could that be one of your email addresses? It might have been an email address you were using 10 years ago.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Has a lot of times people set up an AdSense account many years ago and then just kind of forgot about it. Maybe they don't use that Google account anymore. So that's the first thing to consider. Now, sometimes the system is a little oversensitive. I've seen reports from people where it turns out the existing AdSense account actually belongs to one of their family members. So similar name, same address. And so
I never thought about that. Yeah, that's true.
That's something, check with the people in your household. And
that's
see
interesting.
Maybe it's their AdSense account. Now, it's hard. If this is AdSense for content, there's really no direct support to help fix this. You'd either have to use that account or cancel that account. If you're applying for the AdSense account for YouTube, in some limited circumstances, YouTube may help you sort it out. If you can say, I know whose AdSense account this is, it's not mine. Sometimes YouTube will help. Not all the time, I can't guarantee that.
Right, but, right.
It's worth posting in the YouTube help community if that's the case.
Yeah, and maybe he has, I don't know, but he is a member of our community. He can come in and chat with you a little bit after we get into the backstage pass. We'll talk about it a little bit and see if we can give a little insight to that. See some of the benefits of being a member of our community out there, folks. Russ says, and I just want to clarify, make sure, because I think I don't know if he is or not, but let's just kind of look at this. So a person can only have one AdSense account, but multiple email account and multiple YouTube accounts.
That's exactly correct.
Okay, good.
There's
I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Of emails and a YouTube account.
All of them can be deposited into that one AdSense. Okay, yeah. So basically, okay, I like what you said earlier, because I think you clarified it for me too. I gave you an example of our business, my brother and I, in a personal. that's two different accounts. That would be a reason to have two different things. But if it's just one person collecting, then it needs to be one account.
Yeah.
And you have one business account and then one personal account, something like
and
that.
you know, different pays.
Right,
if you
right.
are a business sole proprietor, I think people in that situation usually have an individual account because the payments are made to you
Oh, yeah.
as the
Yeah.
payee rather than a separate business name.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes total sense. Yep. Here's another one. Let's see what Andrew says here. Thus, do not try to cheat when setting up an AdSense account. The odds of outsmarting, whatever that is, YouTube are not in your favor. Yeah, basically, because that's what I'm sure they caught when they started doing this. They obviously caught some people doing this kind of thing, and it became an issue. So they had to do something to resolve that, and to not make it easy for those cheaters. So
from everything I've read, it's a sort of a constant war with people trying to cheat the system.
Of course.
And a couple of years ago, I think they actually shut down a whole ring of people who were generating invalid traffic on the ads. And, that's bad for the advertisers. Those accounts are shut down. And I think that there is often an issue where creators don't really appreciate that their AdSense account, this is money changing hands. You've got to be, everything has to be, legal. You have to put in your real name, your real address, all your real information. And some of that you may not be able to change once you create your account.
Right.
Because it's not allowed for AdSense accounts to be transferred from one person to another. And so in many countries, you can't even edit the name on the account.
Well, speaking of other countries, here's Ron with his quote or his statement. I think this can be a nightmare for non-U.S. partner. Trying to get U.S. tax info and completion of the forms will require a complex, expensive tax lawyer. He's in Canada, so
maybe. I mean, obviously, I'm in the U.S., so I should filled out the U.S. tax forms. Talking to other creators who are in other countries, in most cases, it's actually fairly straightforward to fill out the. It's a W-8 BEN form for U.S. income, and there's sort of a wizard application inside AdSense, so you go and you say you want to fill out your U.S. tax forms. It should walk you through it. And so in most cases, I think it's fairly straightforward. Obviously, sometimes it's going to be more complicated. And of course, Google is not going to give you tax advice. Your product experts can't give you tax advice.
Right, exactly.
So, yes, sometimes people are recommended, if you really don't know what you need to use to fill out this form, then you're going to have to consult a tax expert because
you're going to have to consult.
Can't tell you what to put there.
That's right. Big T says, I have found two different pub numbers. How do I know which one is the right one?
So I want to talk about where you can see that. That's a great segue into something I want to talk about.
Fantastic.
All right.
Fantastic.
So how can you find out about your account? All right. There's two things. First of all, if you are a YouTube creator, you should go into YouTube Studio, click the monetization button on the left menu, and that will show you your monetization status. And if AdSense is linked, it will show the publisher ID.
Let me ask you, if you're not monetized yet, let's say you haven't reached certain goals or whatever, then you're not even going to see the monetization on the left-hand side. Okay, just to make sure. I just want to make sure on that. Okay.
The other thing, let's see, can you go back to my screen share?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Give me a second.
All
there
right.
we go.
So you go to the AdSense Help Center, and it says, please make sure to visit your AdSense page where you can find personalized information about your account. Now, so you click your AdSense page, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I'm going to switch the screen so that you can't actually see my personal information.
Yeah, I can come off a screen share too here. So that's
second here. Screen. Okay, so if you can show my screen now.
all right.
This is what it looks like if you go to your AdSense page. It will, as long as you're signed into your Google account with AdSense, it will show the status of whether you've received your PIN. At the top, it shows your email username and your publisher ID. That's a good way to get the publisher ID of your AdSense account. And it will show you PIN verified. Have you set up all the things you need to set up to get paid? So
Nice.
it's really recommended that you go visit your AdSense page in the AdSense Help Center to check the status of your AdSense account.
That's kind of cool.
Yes. And so again,
it'll tell you the status. Okay, so when you say it tells you the status, what does that mean? That it's verified, it's all those things. I mean, all those things. How it's stable. I mean, does it ever have things like? I can't read that. That's what I'm saying.
So if you go to you can check your own by going to the AdSense Help Center. That's support.google.com/AdSense. Okay. And there's a banner at the top that says visit your AdSense page. Click that and it will show you the information about the AdSense account on that Google account that you're signed into. If you have an AdSense account, if you don't have an AdSense account, it will say that.
Show. Okay. And if here's a question. I got a quick question here. Okay. Let's say I'm coming up on getting qualified for YouTube and being able to monetize. Not there yet, but I'm really close. Can I get an AdSense account ahead of time?
So generally, no.
Okay.
All right. So
because we're talking about creators, and that's why I want to touch on that. Yeah.
If you have a website that meets all of the AdSense guidelines, you can apply for AdSense with your website or blog, right? Okay, but you really need to make sure that your website has substantial original content and meets all of the recommendations.
Yeah.
If you're only going to use AdSense for YouTube, don't do anything until your YouTube channel is eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. When you do that, you will then, on your monetization settings in YouTube Studio, see the option to link an AdSense account. And you just click that option and it will then prompt you and let you decide you link an existing AdSense account or apply for a new account. Again, don't apply for a new account if you have an existing account.
That's right. Because okay, so that's a thing too. Let's say you were monetized at one point in YouTube and then you gave up on it for a long time. Then you decide to come back to it. Well, it's no longer qualified for the monetization, but you do have an AdSense account that is there. The other thing that I'm going to just throw another wrench into this whole thing is YouTube Shorts. You don't need to be monetized yet. You don't have to have monetization. You can use Shorts and collect money without having the qualifications for the YPP. Right. So now that throws a whole nother thing, but you do have to have an AdSense account set up in order to do those Shorts. So that's one way where.
Right. So that's exactly it. If you're doing YouTube Shorts and you're eligible for the bonus payments, exactly. You have to have popular shorts to do that. You will see in YouTube Studio the option to link an AdSense account to your channel if it's not already linked to one, and that's how the payments are made. Now, if you can't create an AdSense account for some reason, for example, if you've ever had your AdSense account disabled, you're not allowed to create a new AdSense account.
Oh, wow.
Your only option is to appeal. So
in that case, okay, let's say that does happen. Is there any way to send a dispute for that?
Sure. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So you can send a dispute, let's say you're going through this 6 months. You're like, you know what? Maybe I should just start a whole new channel, a whole new thing, whole new AdSense, whatever. Can you do something like that? That's all. I'm just asking for someone that might be asking that.
AdSense will disapprove any new application if you had an existing account that was disabled.
Gotcha. That's exactly what I wanted to clarify, just so people understand. Oh, I'm just going to go create a new one then. Not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. We get a lot of reports in the AdSense and YouTube help communities, people having trouble setting up AdSense. I suspect in some of those cases, that's the reason why they may have previously had an account that was disabled. And so AdSense is not going to let them create a new account.
Let's see what Mike says. Generally, monetization seems a lot of work for small channels.
So, I mean, I'm maybe not a good person to say, but I don't think I think it's actually pretty easy. Once your channel is eligible, I mean, the work is creating the content and building your audience. But once you've connected AdSense, there's not a lot you have to do. And again,
only 5% of those who apply to be monetized.
Yeah, that is actually, I think, a stat maybe for AdSense for content. So applying with your own website. There's, I don't know what the stats are for people applying from YouTube, but when you apply for AdSense from YouTube, it's a different kind of AdSense account that can only be used with YouTube. So it's kind of a different thing. But in the AdSense help community, you can definitely see there's a lot of people who apply for AdSense where their site is nowhere near compliant with the policies. Maybe it's a blog they started last week that has one post on it, or all the content is copied from somewhere else. So AdSense does review sites before your account will be approved fully to show ads, and so you have to make sure your content.
We need to get going, and I want to make sure you have a little bit of time with the community. If no one else has any other questions, we'll bring you in, and I'd love to chat with you a little bit more. The other thing is too, I just want to give you some feedback. It had claim a short bonus because I was eligible for it and everything, and I had and I hit claim bonus and everything. Then it pulls up a thing and says I didn't get the bonus. So why give me that advertisement? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to give you that little bit of feedback that I got, because I don't
know if that's working as it's supposed to be working or not.
Because I don't know if they put it up there and put it claim every month or whatever, which I know you do have to do every month. You have to reclaim your bonus. So I went in and claimed exactly the date they have down and the time that they sent it. And when I click to claim the bonus, it gives me a message here. Let me just see if it says.
Did you contact creator support? No,
I didn't. But I mean, this just happened today, so
I was going to say, if it was only today, maybe wait and see if it needs to refresh. But if it doesn't, contact YouTube creator support, because you are monetizing your channel. Right?
Yeah. I am.
So you have access to direct support. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, I said, Michael Daniels, you did not receive a short bonus in October. I'm like, why'd you put that up on my?
Are you teasing me or what? But I don't think they have enough views to be qualified for the bonus.
That's right. Mike says Google teasing algorithm. Oh, that is true. It's payback for all the feedback I give them every single day. So yeah, I do a lot of feedback. Anyway. Thank you. And I appreciate you coming on. This is awesome. We could probably sit here and talk for hours because there's a lot of stuff about it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention one thing. I've got a bunch of links talk about where to find support. I'm going to put them on my site. I didn't have time to do that before we met today. So when that's ready to go, I will post a comment on the video on YouTube.
That is your, you just make sure that I have the right, that's your blog, right?
Yes.
PeggyK's tips and tricks.
It's
is that correct?
It's PeggyKTC.com. So,
PeggyKTC.com. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to screen share. I'm going to share this because I want everybody to see this because I think it's important that they get this.
so I posted, that I was going to be on the show today. I'm going to add the links to that post.
There's
right
our
there,
show
that
on there
post.
too.
So I will update that with some links
Mm-hmm.
about where to get support and get help.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the get help feedback for the form inside the AdSense or YouTube Help Center. It says if you need more help, try and contact us. Try that process and see if you have direct support.
Also, up at the top, I put the QR code right up here. That has Peggy K. That'll take you right there too. So if you have your phone, if you're watching this later and you have your phone handy, take that phone and scan that QR code. That'll take you right there to her site as well. I wanted to make sure and do that. Peggy, this is awesome. This is fantastic. I love having you on because, like I said, we always learn something.
It's always great to be here because the audience, all you guys in the chat, are so engaged and ask interesting questions. The time just flies right by.
It does. It does. It really does. But no, I really appreciate it. So any community members, come on in the Backstage Pass. I'll put that link in there for you guys into our chat message box. And Peggy, I'll get you the link so you can come in there as well. Thank you so much for coming on. Heather, I hope you feel better. Heather couldn't make it today, but I hope she's feeling better. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye all. Yep.